All right, today we're going to learn how to make scrolling or rolling backgrounds in Flash. It's not that difficult, but it can be pretty tricky to make it perfect. So I'm just going to make a new layer. I got a new layer here, and I'm going to call this one background. There we go. And I'm still going to be on frame one. We're going to animate this rolling background, and it'll scroll through your animation cycle. We're going to need a couple windows. The one you're going to need is properties. The properties dialog box is probably at the bottom of your screen. I'm using different Flash versions, so mine looks a little bit different, but you are going to need properties, and you're going to need to use your align window, and we use that one on Friday. So with those two, you should be good to go. What we're going to want to do is to make a background that's going to fit over the exact size of our stage here. And I'm going to show you how to make a background fit the exact size. And then what you want to do after that then is to copy that background and duplicate it so that it's right next to the stage. So you're going to have two backgrounds then that are going to scroll. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So you can hold down Alt to duplicate the background. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that, but you're going to need to use your align window, and you're going to need to use your properties window down here at the bottom. Okay. So I made my stage smaller. I'm at 50% so that you can see outside of the stage as well. And in fact, I'm probably going to need to move my line out of the way a little bit because I want to put a second one right here. Okay. So to make a little, I'm just going to make a little sky. I'm going to make a ground. And I'm going to make those walking. The first thing that I need to do though is I need to find out the size of this stage right here. And a quick shortcut to do that is to right click and go to document properties. I think for you guys though, you guys are using Flash CS3, it might already be down here in the properties dialog box. But for me, I had to kind of right click to go to document settings. So it tells me right now that this dimension is 550. PX stands for what? Pixels, right? 550 pixels wide by 400 pixels high. And it's telling me my unit is on pixels. Now, I'm not sure if you guys knew this or not, but you can change the background color of your stage to be whatever you want. I'm going to use a rectangle for this one, but just to show you guys, you can change your background color to the stage to be purple. It doesn't have to be necessarily white. You can change it to black or whatever, and that will show up. That will show up in your video, whatever you have. Okay, so you can change that background to be whatever you want. I'm going to change my frame rate to 12 just so that I match you guys also. So let me change this back to white. There we go. But the important thing you're going to need to know though is that 550 pixels wide by 400 pixels high. You're going to need to know that because then you want to make a background that fits over that exact same size. So what I can do then is to make a rectangle, and I'm going to choose a light blue for my sky and try to match that up as best you can. But it doesn't really matter because if you go down here into your properties dialog box, um, let me bring that out a little bit. If you go down here into your properties, you're going to be able to change the height and width right here anyway. Okay. So my width, I wanted it to be 550, right? 550. And I wanted my height to be 400. So all I got to do is type those in, and now it made it the exact same size. Now you'll notice out here, it's not exactly on the stage because I got this little white strip from my original stage. So what I need to do then is use my align, and that align to stage button that we learned last week. I want to align it perfectly on the stage. So I want to horizontal align it and vertical align it, just like that. So now I got a rectangle that's the exact size of my stage. It's exactly on top of it. Now I just want to build a quick, simple background. Nothing too complicated. I'm going to make a rectangle and I'll make some, where's brown for some dirt. And I got that there. And now I want to use my my size to make that the exact same width, which was 500, no, 550. And the height doesn't matter, just the width. And now I use my align to align it on the stage. Okay, so there I got my little dirt, I got my sky. And let's see, what else should we put in? How about a few clouds? Use the oval tool. I'm just going to use white. So I'm going to use white for the oval tool. And I'm just going to make a couple overlapping circles for clouds. The thing that you need to remember for to make a scrolling background is you want to make everything within the margins of your stage. You don't want to have clouds that overlap or go outside of the stage for this particular project. Everything needs to be exactly inside of the stage. So I'll make a couple clouds there. Excuse me. Hold down Alt, drag out some more. There we go. Say it again. Yeah, you're more than welcome to use Illustrator. I just want to do this real quick just to show you what I want it to look like. All right. I'm just going to use a paintbrush now, and I'll make a plant. I'll make a few plants. I'll make a few trees, just like that. Is that a palm tree? No, that's not a palm tree. There we go. And I'm going to select these, group them together, and Control D will let me duplicate it. I'm just doing this really quick, really rough, just to show you how it's done. Okay, now that you got your background, now that you have your background, what you want to do is you want to group everything together so that now you can duplicate it. So swipe over everything. Swipe over everything, and what's the key command to group? Control G, there you go. And Alt will let you drag out a copy. Okay, hold down Alt, it'll let you drag out a copy. But this time when you hold down Alt and Shift at the same time, and that'll drag it out straight. Okay, so Alt and Shift will let you drag it out straight. Now, what you'll want to do next is you'll want to match it up so that it overlaps. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Here we go. You'll want to match these up, and I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard so that it overlaps the slightest bit. And by slightest bit, I mean just as little as humanly possible. There we go. Okay. So you don't want to have a seam here. And if you guys look closely, I even have a little seam down here. But do it better than me when you guys get the opportunity. Okay, but you want to overlap those the slightest bit. If you have a gap, it's going to show up really, really bad in your video. Okay, if these aren't aligned properly, let's say this one is slightly down like that, it's slightly lower, it's going to show up as a big hitch inside your window. Okay, so use your arrow keys and just slightly overlap them so that you don't see a seam where one starts and the other one stops. Okay, so then when you're done, it should look like this. Again, I got a little seam right here, so the better you do this, the better it's going to look. All right, so now we got that. We want to group the entire thing together again, Control G. And now we just want to do a simple animation, a simple scroll animation. So I'm going to go here at 40, insert a new keyframe. And now use my align features. I want to put, excuse me, I want to put this group now on keyframe 40. I want it to be over here, okay? But if I use my align features, I'm still clicked on align to stage. I can align this whole group now to the right edge of my scene, and it moves it there automatically. Okay, so if I move this a little bit, you'll see my stage. You'll see here I'm on the right hand side of my stage. So I'll click back over here, align to the right side of the stage. So now on frame 1, I'm over here, it's aligned on the left side, keyframe 40, and it doesn't have to be 40. If you want it to go real fast, put in less keyframes. If you want it to go real slow, put in more keyframes. So I got to align left, align right, and then last thing is to create your tween, okay? So now when you do Control Enter, here's what it looks like. Scrolling background. Okay, so if I had my character walking, it looked like he's walking down this path. All right, some of the tricks that my students have done in the past to make this more realistic is to lower the transparency of your circles. They look more like clouds. Other tricks that my students have done is they've made different scrolls on different layers. So then, for example, you could have these clouds on a layer by themselves, and that'll give the appearance of depth, especially if you make the clouds like get larger or smaller. You can do different tweens so that it tweens like the color. So you can make the clouds appear to be getting gray. You can make whatever you want. So if you use different layers, you have more things available to you. Okay, but this is the basic that I want to see you're able to do for your points for today. All right. Once you make your Swift file, then save this in that folder in your PM locker. I saved a folder here called Flash Scrolling Backgrounds. So you're going to save all your Swift files in here. Once everybody gets it, then we're going to go to break. We'll be able to take our break. All right. When we come back to break, I want to go over the project sheet, and I also want to go over a few more things that are going to help you out. For example, I'll go over storyboarding when we come back from break. Okay, so that's all from me. Make sure you work with your neighbors and the other people in the class to make sure that everything that I've just showed you on the Swift file. Remember, you can get extra credit if you drop a little animated man or walking figure, even one that you already made. If you drop them into that scrolling background, I'll give you a quick extra credit point. Okay? All right, that's all from me.